One of the best teams in Germany last season, outside of Bayer Leverkusen of course, was a team who, like Leverkusen, finished ahead of Bayern Munich, finishing second and flying pretty much under the radar for a large portion of the season with fans outside of Germany, that being VfB Stuttgart. Stuttgart were a very impressive team, going from a team the season before last that finished 16th and avoided relegation through the relegation qualification, seeing them score just 45 goals all season and concede 57, to last season finishing second, losing just 7 games, finishing ahead of Bayern Munich and only conceding 39 goals all season long. And one of their best players in the Stuttgart team last season, certainly their best goal scorer in the team, in 28-year-old Serhou Guirassy, who got a ridiculous 28 goals and 2 assists in 28 Bundesliga games last season. Good enough to see him finishing second in the Golden Boot race behind only Harry Kane, who got a massive 36 goals last season. And like with every surprise team that does well, they get hounded in the transfer markets, and Stuttgart have been no different, having already officially sold 7 players, 3 of which were pretty crucial for them last season. And yesterday it became official that Bundesliga rivals Borussia Dortmund have signed Serhou Guirassy from Stuttgart for 17.5 million euros. Their 7 million euros is a very small price to pay for the potential production last season's Champions League runner-ups could get from him. But why do I think this may be a bad move by Dortmund, and just where will Guirassy fit into this Dortmund team with all the attacking talent and attacking depth that they already have at their disposal? Well, please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. In July 2015, Guirassy joined Lille from Laval, a club in Western France, for a reported €1 million fee, but after only playing 8 games for Lille and getting no goals, he was then sold out to FC Cologne in Germany just a year after joining Lille. And at Cologne, he was pretty injury struck in his first season, having meniscus surgery and muscular injuries, keeping him out for most of the season, only making his debut in matchday 26 and only managing 79 minutes all season in the Bundesliga. The following season, however, Guirassy managed to play in 22 games for the first team and scored 7 goals in all competitions and got 1 assist, including scoring a winning goal against my beloved Arsenal in a 1-0 home win in the group stage of the Europa League. But that season, Cologne finished rock bottom of the Bundesliga, getting relegated, seeing Guirassy finish as their highest scorer for the season. Halfway through the following season, Guirassy was loaned out to Amiens after failing to make a huge impact in the second division of the Bundesliga, and at Amiens, Guirassy was made a permanent signing by the French club, and in the 1920 season, Guirassy started to look like a competent and consistent striker, playing 24 games and scoring 9 goals and even getting an assist, seeing Amiens cash in on him, selling him to Rennes for a reported 15 million euros the following season. And at Rennes, Guirassy kept his purple patch going, seeing himself play 33 games, scoring a career-high 14 goals, and again getting 1 assist, even seeing himself score 2 goals, 4 Champions League appearances. The following season at Rennes, he took a step back, being relegated to a backup striker role, but still managed to feature in 48 games, seeing himself score 13 goals and get a career high of 3 assists. Stuttgart then signed Guirassy from Rennes for a reported 9 million euros, and at Stuttgart in his first season, he had some really good performances and some really good numbers to boot, seeing himself play 28 games for Stuttgart, getting 14 goals and 2 assists. And this past season, everything seemingly went right for Guirassy at Stuttgart, having the best season of his career by miles, playing 30 games, scoring 30 goals and getting 3 assists in all competitions. And now he has been signed by Borussia Dortmund for 17.5 million euros, making this move his 8th club of his career at just the age of 28. Now, Guirassy in his stint at Stuttgart had been a lethal striker, and this past season was arguably one of the best goal threats in all of Europe. Guirassy is also very impressive in one-on-one situations with defenders, and in the penalty area, Guirassy is an absolute beast. Guirassy is very good at winning aerial duels, and he excels in retaining possession for his team. Now, Guirassy is far from the hardest worker defensively, even for a striker, and at times he plays it too safe with the ball, often opting to pass back instead of trying to turn and make passes to open up the opposition. But overall, he is a very clinical striker, and last season's numbers prove everything. So why don't I like this move for Dortmund? Well, I know Guirassy had a monster season last season, but for the most part, that is an outlier of a season in his career. Oftentimes, Guirassy underdelivers at his club, or he just gives borderline acceptable performances. And Guirassy, to me, is a high-risk, high-reward kind of player. So he may very well succeed at Dortmund, but to me, he could equally be as bad at Dortmund as we have ever seen him. He's not a great link-up man, not a good playmaking striker, but he is very effective when given half a yard to dribble, or his main job and the only thing he should focus on. But throughout his career, he hasn't always been the most dependable goal scorer. So there's games when he struggles in front of goal, or even season when he struggles in front of goal. He doesn't bring much else to the team, having his career high of assists be 3 assists in a whole season. Now, this is not me preying on his downfall whatsoever. I'd love to be proven wrong and for him to succeed. I love his story. I love how he's finally getting his big move. He never gave up. I just think he is a high risk, high reward kind of player, and I fear that he may just be a complete bust under the inexperienced manager in Nuri Sahin. Also, with the attacking depth and the attacking quality that Borussia Dortmund already have, I don't necessarily know where he will be the starter. Now, I assume he will be the starter ahead of Füllkrug, which is a huge nod to Guirassy and just how good he is. But if he does have a couple bad performances, it wouldn't surprise me if he already becomes a backup in the first season. Again, you look at the attacking depth in the forward line that Borussia Dortmund already have, not including Guirassy. They have Nicholas Füllkrug, who was amazing last season for Dortmund, scoring 12 goals, getting 8 assists in 31 games. You then have Sebastian Haller, who may not have scored as many goals, having scored 0 goals in 14 games, but he was coming back from a serious illness. Then you have a guy like Daniel Marlin, who can play out wide, but could also play down the middle. You then have Karim Adeyemi, who is an electric player. And you have 19-year-old Youssoufa Moukoko, who himself got 5 goals last season in 20 games. Now, I know not all the players I just mentioned are out-and-out strikers. Adeyemi barely ever plays striker. Daniel Marlin also barely ever plays striker. But this attacking line is so deep and has so many different types of players that they can play. But like I said, I fear that if Guirassy gets off to a slow start at Dortmund, well, he may be buried on the bench. Again, I am hoping I am proven wrong. I'm hoping Guirassy really succeeds. I love his story. I love how hardworking he is. And he is a really electric player when he's on form. I just suspect also with him having a knee injury now until late September and his injury history not looking great, I just fear that this may be a high-risk, high-reward signing. I do think the fee of 17.5 million euros is a low risk, and if he doesn't quite replicate what he did at Stuttgart, he could at the bare minimum be at least a decent goal-scoring option off the bench for Dortmund. I just fear that he may struggle to replicate his amazing season from last season, and he may struggle at Dortmund.